All right, hello and welcome, my friends. Habbage here, once again back in the home studios, right? That's what we're going to call them, home base. And glad to be here, glad to be with you guys. Sorry, a couple minutes after our scheduled start time, but that was just largely due to unpacking all the laptop gear, finding a new battery for the mouse, which apparently had run itself down. Let's pause that. And all the other related fun of getting settled and back up to speed. So here we are, and it is gonna be awesome. I'm just pulling up the stream on the old television. So if you guys do want to drop by and say hi in the chat, I'll know you're there. Let's get the stream manager going. Game in place. Get the OBS out of the way. Oh, it's all coming together now. Can you feel it? Can you feel the wonderful greatness? All right, so for those of you folks who caught up with the VOD that we threw up, Monday? It was Monday, right? Just to check in, and some of this will seem very familiar because we didn't really play the game. We did wander around just a little bit, and we whooshed over to check in on Key's lair, if you will, and we're going to go back over there pretty quick today to see if the same quest is offered. I have no idea. I very rarely do anything going forward on a day in the game. I don't know. It feels a little bit cheaty, looking to advance and then starting back over with foreknowledge. But we were doing it more just because all this stuff is so new, and I didn't really know where we had gone into the Skull Caves for our very first quest and failed it. I wanted to go back and see what that did to the quest board and all that. So we may see the same two quests. One of them is color-based. We'll go over and get it. If that is the case, and do our best to provide all that gear back and get some of those things. We were even making a shopping list in the little shop yesterday or Monday. So yeah, lots of fun to do there. It is a huge day on the farm. We were walking around on that as well. Excuse me while I sip a little coffee here. We were doing the we know we have the casks to do. We have a warehouse full of kegs to do, and we also have the big fields over at the island as well are all ready to be harvested. So we're going to do all that and so much more. Who knows which way it will go and what we'll do, but give me 1 second here. I will be just right back. All right, I think that's all sorted. The other thing that just reminded me of, consequently, is let's silence the phone in case there's any interruptions, be them extended warranties from my car or follow-ups from friends or family or whatever. All right, enough dilly-dally and wasting time. Let's go, guys. All right, so we're off, but one thing I think we should do, we had golded up for our trip to the Skull Cave. Didn't exactly bear fruit. Let's go with this random shirt. And in the hats, let's go back to the cowboy, and in the pants, I don't know what we're wearing. I don't know, that green poofy pants. Too bad. I'll put those away, and you know what? Match our shirt. Go with some red shorts, too. There we go. Oh, yeah, summer weather. All right, so we've got this lemon stone. It is for the dwarf. It's his birthday. Let's do some of the basic stuff we weren't dealing with. The other day, and we didn't know anything about fortunes. Very displeased. That's fine. We're not wasting any time. We got sunny here tomorrow and rain in the islands tomorrow. All right, mountains. Let's get this done while I'm thinking about it and without having to juggle around the inventory. And we'll go ahead and eat some peppers too. Hey, Dwarfy, happy birthday, my friend. It's almost mythical. Some of us dwarves live our entire lives without ever experiencing it. Oh, that's a bummer. I mean, I'm not completely enraptured with rain, but, I mean, no harm in it. All right, so we do want to get our mail because our mail contains all the cherry bombs that we'd lost and gotten the recovery service out of Marlin for. Let's put those down in the corner so we don't accidentally have an incident. And then let's get our resins gathered up. Now, the Junimos won't get the coffee beans because it's raining, of course. But we can get the honey. Sell that. We do want these two. Oh, come on, don't. Sinedra, how you doing? Welcome. Hope life is treating you good, but I'm so glad to see you back in the chat. How's things? Life treating you well? I hope. No cabbages yet. They're close but not ready, but we will have blueberries. And Jenny! Oh my gosh, you guys coordinated this assault. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, it's great to see you guys. I hope everything is great for both of you. Yeah, good. Everything's so good for me. Man, that was a nice time. Nice visit with the family. So much to do and say and relate back to you guys while we get these hops and honeys and everything done. Yeah, man, this is great. Sadly, I think, let's be channel-y first. I think, obviously, I didn't get a chance on Tuesday to do any more streaming or anything like that. Yesterday was the longest day ever. I'll tell you about that a little bit, too, but it was so worth it. Oh my goodness, so good to be there. It was my mom's birthday, so that was the main reason for the trip, and of course getting back out to see them. They had moved in the spring for folks who were around the channel at that point. Yep, we got them all moved, and it was great to see them, settled into their house, and it kind of looking like their house again, right? Not just like a new house with a bunch of boxes and their furniture, but none of their stuff. So they're doing great, and my sister and all her family are doing great, and ate some fantastic food with everybody. Oh, and we got tea leaves again. Now, like we said, this is going to be a busy farm day, but I think as soon as we do the basics, before we start getting into the casks, we're going to run over and see if the same quest that I looked at in our little touch base video, if that one is still available to us, right? We want to grab it if we can. Tea leaves might be a good green. I don't know what we had said for the green, but where we lost so many hops, I don't know that it's the best. We do still have blueberries to harvest. I haven't completely forgotten. We got to go back down to the fish shed too. There's a quick peek in here. Nothing important. Oh, autocorrect. I don't know why. My autocorrect, like on my phone, when I was I was never texting and driving in the middle of the great state of Nebraska because there were no cars in sight anywhere while I was driving. I would never do such a thing now. But when I was noticing that when I was trying to type aisle, like I apostrophe LL, it was auto-correcting to I apostrophe LOL. Like, that's fun and entertaining and all, but whoever types I LOL, it didn't seem very necessary. Anyway. Alright, so I'm just dropping off the few. See, we got 100 of those would be green, and we've got 100 of them right there, whereas our hops are pretty limited now. We'll keep getting some more, but let's go get those blueberries. And then whoosh, so that we can get that quest checked. It's not quite noon, but we had a birthday this morning, and fortunately the dwarf is very easy to track down. Okay, so I don't even know where to begin. Food was amazing. My sister had a home-cooked dinner. My parents had a home-cooked dinner one of the nights. We went out to so they're in small-town Iowa for the folks in the United States. And for folks who not, this is a rolling farm area. Iowa is right on between the prairies and the plains, kind of right on the border. And it's not like endless seas of grains and that kind of stuff where you only see one massive ranch on the skyline, right? There's farms and stuff all around. I'm going to leave this whole shed for the time being because we have bigger fish to fry, I think, than the fish. Of which poppy honey, all the tree fruits, the petrified slimes, not the cheese. Well, no, the cheeses, right? We're going to try to start selling the cheeses. We're going to keep the blueberries, and let's go check this quest real fast, and maybe grab the pineapples and the other deals. I don't know which way is faster. I think it's faster to go this way or up and around. I think this way, probably, right? Alright, so here's key again. There's more to this world than meets the eye, kids. Someday you might understand. Ooh, I hope soon. For now, just keep striving to excellence in everything you do. Alright. We got it. Awesome. Same two challenges, right? So we keep getting this one, but we've talked about it at length. We don't, I think, have all the... Yeah, please let me know. I just say Sinedra, but if that's not it, if you prefer Sky or Dra, Edra, please let us know. It would be awesome. So fishing, yeah, we need better and more gear to get all of these all throughout. Sen, okay, Sen, we got you. I got you. Thanks, Jenny. Because yeah, I just kind of shorten things the way I say. Find 100 of each red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple items and place them in the little collection box. And 14 days, but I think we can do this one. Probably not today because we got to get back and do all the keg stuff. But let's accept it. And this will pay us 35 little crystal things, gems. So now back to the farm. And I think the best thing we can do with our time to start is the casks. So let's get our supply of wine. And we've got our axe there. It's 1:30. I think this takes like 4 or 5 hours. And we'll try again really hard not to miss. Seems like this should be easier to do, but oh well. So yeah, I'm out in farm country, right? And it's awesome because my nephew's in college now, little school there, and um, this is not working. We went over there to have lunch at his cafeteria one of the days. Oh my, which was really, it's good. It's not like high school cafeteria food. It's like college cafeteria, like basically just a big buffet kind of deal. But they had people serving all the stuff. You didn't feel overly. Hey, a bunch of college kids are going to get me really sick from being in here. And they had nice dining rooms and all that. So and of course, like my parents, I stayed at their place. Kind of talked about that. Because my sister, she's lived out there and she's got a guest room too. And they're both like, oh, well, you can stay wherever you want. And I kind of said, hey, sis, I'm not trying to offend you or say that, oh, I don't want to spend time with you guys. But while mom and dad can still have house guests and, can still manage all that extra work, I'll go stay with them, and I think they're excited to be able to have guests and all that kind of stuff in their place. Man, this is so frustrating. All right, we're doing our time though is terrible. All right, go back up. So yeah, I stayed with them. They had breakfast and all, like, oh, here we'll do sausages and eggs and all that kind of stuff. So it was so good. And the day I talked with all of you guys, my sister went with my folks and I just drove around and we went out to a state park, saw the trees at fall time, and just kind of toured around. Went to this old one of the little towns in the area had another kind of an area on the edge of town that had been or was kind of an assemblage of all these old buildings from the area that people had bought when they'd become disused, or they would be reclaimed, like Depression era stuff. Not that old that people are buying them currently, but like Depression era and stuff. They would get foreclosed on, or the people just didn't want them, didn't want to maintain them. So they'd kind of build them up, and they made like this little village in the corner of the town out of all these area historic buildings. And it wasn't open or anything. I mean, it's October, right? It was tough to believe because it was like beautiful summer weather, sunny and nice, and we got to just kind of walk. I had the whole place to ourselves, just kind of walked around, peeked in the windows and all that kind of stuff. But each of the buildings had a little QR code on it, and you could just scan it with the phone. It was like self-guided tour kind of deal. It would tell you about each one of the little buildings. So that was fun. And then 2 days ago now, I want to say yesterday, because yesterday doesn't really feel like a day. But on Tuesday, it was my niece's high school conference cross-country meet. And she's a freshman in high school now and already running on their varsity team. And she did really well. Their team did very well at their conference meet. And it was windy, but a beautiful warm day. So nice to be out and enjoy it and all that. So we like drove around all these lakes in northern Iowa. If you're familiar with the area, you definitely know the lakes I'm talking about. There are 5 of them, and there's lots of, it's big summer touristy area. So we got to go see that, and I'd never even been in the area, and it was really cool. But the whole time I was out there, it's harvest season, right? So like everywhere you looked, the hay fields had already been mowed, and nowadays there's no such real thing as haystacks anymore, but there are big old rolls of hay, and they had all been rolled and bundled, but they were all just sitting out in the fields where they'd been, where they'd been dropped off the roller kind of thing, and it looked so cool. And then in and amongst all that, all the farmers in Nebraska and Iowa are harvesting corn right now. So the corn looks like a corn maze, if you guys are familiar with those. The big dead kind of corn stalks out in the cornfield, all brownish yellow, right? And they go through with the big old combine tractors, and they mow all that stuff down just like you're mowing your lawn. And then out the top of it, or inside it, it's basically separating and processing out all the dried kernel corn, right? The corn kernels like you get in a bag of corn or a can of corn or whatever. And then they take, as soon as that big tractor thing fills up, a truck, like a semi-truck, comes alongside it out in the field, or a specialized truck with big mud tire kind of stuff goes out into the field and drives alongside it, and it spits all the grain out of a big chute into the truck as it's going along. And then they do that just endlessly. So everywhere you go, these big old tractors are out in the fields, or all the fields are like partially cut. And I've never, having grown up in the Midwest and been familiar with that, I don't think I've ever spent time or driven across during those types of operations. It was really fun to see it all in action. Like so much of the time, unless they're planting in the spring or doing the harvesting in the fall, there's not, farmers are busy, they live busy lives, but a lot of it is like preparing machinery and that kind of stuff while the crops are growing and doing their thing. They're basically maybe driving around in a pickup truck and turning on irrigators or stuff like that out in the fields, but there's not a lot you're going to see day to day. So it's cool to see, how many people are involved in all that and what they're doing. Did make the driving a little slower. Oh my goodness, it's already midnight. So that was a challenge. But fun, you just kind of, it was so beautiful all the time that it didn't even matter. It was like, oh yeah, it's a little slower than I'd like, but I don't care. How often am I going to get to see this? So much fun. Really, really, really cool. Awesome to be with the family. And then yesterday I was back, but that was like 11 hours of driving. And normally it's 10 or less to get back, but I do kind of cut across northern Nebraska or north central Nebraska, and there's not much out there. It's a few little towns, rolling hills. It's very pretty. Oh yeah, dude, you gotta appreciate your farmers, right? And they're loving it right now because it's very, very dry, and it's been a dry year, and farmers are always it's too wet or it's too dry. It's very rarely perfect. But if there's ever a time for it to be dry like this, it's in the fall, because oh man, I guess we'll finish this tomorrow. The rest of the time, if it's wet, their crops will get ruined, right? And so then it's like night and day endless, but there's no significant rain in the forecast, so they're kind of out there. I think it's a little less frantic, but it certainly looked like we're all going to eat, which is good. So the drive back was long. It's not like, I don't mind long drives like that. Oh well, but I left from my folks' house at 7:45 their time, and I get an hour back on the way home. But it was like 11 plus hours yesterday, because that northern part there was so much more. And usually if I go on a midweek day like that and you're going across the kind of the back roads, there's no traffic. You might get a little bit of construction, you might catch a truck here and there. There were lots of farm activity, loads of these grains and all that going up and down the roads and all that. So, and more time to, if you were at a juncture or something, you had to slow down. And wait longer for a truck that had stopped ahead of you or something to get back up to speed. So it was just a slow, but it was a nice day and all that. Well, then I got home, and it was the Colorado Avalanche's first game of the season last night. So, and I'd been talking to one of my friends as I was driving, and I said, well, let's do something. It's Wednesday, but I don't know that we necessarily. Personally, I don't care if we do trivia or not, but it would be fun to watch the first game of the season. So I get home, and the game was going to start at 7:30, and I got home and it was close to 5 or something, and I like kind of missed the text because that last bit, like I didn't need to stop for gas or anything, so I was just like, all right, get home. It's almost rush hour traffic. Just get in, and like I literally was like, park the car, don't get any bags, just make sure everything's locked, grab the keys to get in the house, go to the bathroom, that kind of stuff. And while I'm doing all that, all these texts are going back and forth. And one of my friends was like, okay, great, we'll do trivia. I'm going to go grab the table right now because you have to get there a little early to hold the table. So before I knew it, I'm like barely changed, waiting for an Uber to go over and go out to dinner, which ended up being like 4.5 hours while we first did trivia, and then the game was just kind of getting going. And it was fun, but man, that was why I got a little late starting today. It was a long, long day, but it was so fun, so worth it, and so great to, when you can combine friends and family and all that. And the only piece was I didn't get to talk to all of you guys the last couple days, but I appreciated the views and all that, the people checking in on the update video. Omni was out there commenting on it in the YouTube, so you guys are great. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the support and the nice words while I was away. But let's get going. I can't believe that took that long, and now we're kind of left in a between state. We'll just quick before we do anything else go over and finish up these kegs, and then we'll see what we've got left to do with the day. Before we go drop off those purples and blues and reds and whatever's. Okay, this is the one we've got to... Do we see any that I missed yet? You guys let me know if I've already derped. And then this row is a pain, because this is the rocker row. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, get it in there. Don't you behave. All right, almost good. But yeah, it's been really cool for my folks. They're out in this area, and there's some stuff that you really can't do there. For instance, what I did last night. You can't just go out for dinner, have a few drinks, where you're certainly not going to want to drive, or not legal to drive, and expect to get home. Like you gotta either have a friend that's doing it or make other plans. But there were all these, we stopped at so many fun little restaurants and stuff like that. Like we went to a burger place that my sister knew before the cross-country meet. We only ate out at the little school cafeteria in the town where they live. But we went to an Italian place that my parents had discovered at a tiny little town with just a couple hundred people. Like, my sister's town is fairly small, but it's got thousands of people in it. This other town has a couple hundred, and that's it. Like a very small, quiet downtown. But right in the middle of it, there's this little Italian restaurant, and it was so good. And the guy that runs it came out and like said hello to us. We were kind of late, right? Because we'd been cross country meet and all that, so it was probably like 8 o'clock when we got there to eat. And he was open through 9 or something. But he was kind of finishing up. He was out like while we were eating, and like right after they'd brought us our food, he came over and he was like, "Hey, it's my place and all that. And how's everything seeming? Is it all good? Is there anything else I can get you?" This is the owner chef guy, not our waitress. He's like, "Okay, well, good. We're here if you need us." And then he went and sat at the bar with two guys, one of whom came out of the back, who I assume was, like kitchen staff or, probably everything in a little place like that. But like, dishwasher, side cook, whatever, whatever you want to call it. Kind of the hired help, not the family guy in the restaurant. And they sat there, cracked a couple of Corona beers, and sat at the bar. He's drinking with his employee, just there finishing up their night, and it was so cool. Like, oh, that's where you can tell. Like, you're not just the owner of this place; you're a part of the same community. There's no like, oh yeah, okay, well you do this the way I want you to, and I'm gonna expect you to have it all done by the time I finish this beer kind of deal. No, it's just like, all right, well you work for me, but you're also my friend. So really cool, different way of doing things. And they're having fun going to all these different little towns and discovering little fun places and meeting their neighbors and all that kind of stuff. So it's good to see everybody settling in. So what did everybody else do for their weekends? Anybody have extra fun, exciting stuff go on? Anybody working on Halloween costumes? Thinking about that at all? Alright, we got some cabbages. I think these were 6-dayers, which with the boost, maybe we get some done. Definitely take these peppers. You guys believe we're almost into fall? Got some mermaid song. And we are still going to have stuff on the island. I think we've still got to figure out on our own, not related to the key. I thought key was going to kind of take care of everything for us. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm trying desperately not to forget. So let's just take care of it, even if it's a little out of sequence. Yeah, that was, I did log in on my, like, for the first part of my drive home yesterday. I was logged into Twitch. I had some BAMs, but I was looking on my phone, and I just didn't see any of the, folks that hang out here and do stream at the same time. None of them were on while I had signal to look. That was kind of cool. It's so great, if you do have awesome cell coverage, and on the interstates and stuff like that, you're just going to, because that's how it is. So I'm guessing 188. I don't know how I was off on that, but I guess 188 is... No, we missed the... Well, I don't know.